All right, so if you haven't checked out your exam feedback yet, you can get that in two different places. One is the grade section of the course, but one is if you go into the actual assignment and you go to view scored assessment, that will bring up your questions, your answers, and then underneath I add feedback. Not on every question. Sometimes I'll just, yeah, good job. And if something went wrong, I'll write, hey, something went wrong. And then there's this little key here that shows what the right answer is in case you didn't get the right answer. And usually if you got it wrong, I put a note about it down here in the feedback. So that's one place you can see the feedback. The other is in grades, but grades just shows you a list like feedback for number 1, blah, 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 feedback for number 2, blah, blah, blah. If you want to see the feedback with the exam, go to the actual exam page, click view your scored assessment, and that'll take you here. So common problems are what I wanted to go over just real quick here. Rounding, not reading or noticing the rounding instructions. So that happened to, man, like 75% of the class, at least in one place, had a rounding issue. I screw that kind of thing up once in a while too. No big whoop. Minor point lost there. So at first the computer gives you no credit, and then I went back in and gave you credit. Partial credit for that. Other big problem was calculator usage. So I'm going to show two examples of where we can use our calculators better. And you probably have seen me do this before, but a lot of people didn't get this down in practice. So this problem right here, where I have to calculate this crazy fraction right there, not the craziest fraction, but it's a little work. So for my problem, let's see, I have a male with 5 drinks, 180 pounds. And I want to simplify this fraction, and the instructions say to simplify it down to the nearest thousandth here. Depends on your calculator. I've been promoting the Desmos calculator, and no, I do not work for Desmos. They do not give me any money. All right, so the Desmos calculator is cool because it has a fraction button. So I can click that and then just type my 2.84 times the 5 drinks. This, how heavy was the student? 180-pound male, 5 drinks, yeah. So in the bottom here, I do my 180 times the male, 0.68, right? And it does it in one shot. There's no need to calculate the top separate from the bottom on modern calculators. We just need to get straight to the answer. Okay, now, maybe your calculator doesn't work quite like this. I got a cheapo Walmart $5 calculator, and that one works more like this Google calculator here, where I have to be careful with use of parentheses. So on this calculator, I'd have to do parentheses for the numerator because it's more than one thing, 2.84 times my 5 drinks, close the numerator, divide, start the denominator, 180 times 0.68. Did I get those numbers right? 180. Other things, speaking of not getting numbers right, that people struggle with on the exam is miscopying numbers. Happens to all of us. You just got to double check, triple check, and so on. And I get the same exact number here. So you have to master your calculator so that you don't mess things up on an exam where it matters the most. You don't get a redo. All right, so the other problem where people had trouble with the calculator was down here with these two, number 6 and number 7. So my fake student skipped it. Never skip something, try something. It's worth a shot. You might get a point instead of nothing. All right, so I got to get these numbers into my calculator. So I'm going to put them on paper so then I can type them on the screen. Actually, no, I'm just going to move screens for a sec. So if I wanted to do this in Desmos, Desmos has a fraction button. I just type my rise numbers. So they were 2,569,600 minus 2,567,350. And then I just want to double check, is that really what's on my test? 2,567,600, yep. And then 2,569,600, 2,567,350. Yeah, that looks right. And then my numbers in the bottom, in the same order. So 569 went with 2008, and the other number went with 2003. type it in one shot. There's no need to do the numerator separate from the denominator. If I'm doing this in my Google calculator, parentheses, 2, 569, 600 minus 2, 567, 350, close parentheses, divide, parentheses, 2008 minus 2003, close parentheses, double check you typed them right, double check your parentheses are right, hit enter, hit equals, and there's the same number. So biggest problems on the test were not using a calculator correctly. Next biggest problem was little rounding errors. That's kind of minor. And then I guess the third big thing was not writing good sentences, not using all of the information, not thinking about that writing principle. So again, take a look at your test, view that scored assessment. You'll see my comments, your answers, and a key for each one for the right answer if you get it wrong. If you have any questions about it, get in touch with me. Send me an email, give me a call, catch me in a Zoom tutorial, but definitely we want to get this stuff right. And if you don't think I graded you fairly, let me know. It's worth asking. Worst case scenario is I said, sorry, I think I graded you fairly, but lots of cases where people get a better grade. They argue their case and I say, oh yeah, okay, I believe you, good job. But arguing will not bring your grade down. Although once that did happen, a student came to me once, said, hey, you added up my points wrong. I didn't get that high grade. You don't have to do that. I was a little too honest.